What's up, guys? Welcome to episode one of the Nezcatt Knows podcast, Nezcatt Knows Show. This is the podcast. This is what I've been cooking up for the past, I don't know, however many months it's been. But this is the new format of what I'm going to be doing. Is it's like a podcast, a monologue sort of show where I talk to you about what's going on. So it's sort of what I've been doing in my videos, but instead of making 60-second videos, I can have a larger format to then post on things like Spotify and YouTube, where you guys can watch videos and then you'll see the clips on here. I'll still obviously be making videos on TikTok. I'm never going to leave TikTok. It's given me all I have today on social media. So don't worry, I'm not going anywhere. It's just we're getting into bigger and better things. That's the easiest way to put it. I want to get straight into this because we need to get this out quickly. Because UFC 296 is tonight. It is currently, today is the 16th of December. I'm obviously in South Africa, not in America. So for me, I wake up early in the morning to watch these fights. But I mean, let's literally just get straight into it. I mean, you know, I obviously am a huge UFC fan. You guys probably know this, just because of how much I talk about it in my videos. I've talked about it on live before. But I think this is the most underrated card of the year, in my opinion. I think people are not turning their heads towards this card as much as I thought they would. Just, I think, because it's the end of the year and because the start of 2024 is so massive with 297, 298, and 299. And then 300 hasn't even been announced. It's been announced the date. It's in early April. But like 297 is Dricus versus Strickland, 298 Volk and Ilya, and then 299 is Sean O'Malley and Cheeto. It's a banger. 2024 starts off with three bangers. I mean, and those are just main events. Like, who else can be on those cards? I mean, only time will tell. But let's just get into 296 because I think this is a very interesting card, a very underrated card. By the way, if I'm looking there, if you guys are watching the video, if I'm looking there, it's because that's where I'm recording from. The camera's up there. So I'm just getting used to this. I'm not used to recording with the camera, I guess. So let's just literally get straight into it. UFC 296. It is in Las Vegas. Final card of the year. What a year the UFC has had in 2023. We started off with Volk and Islam in Australia in February. Islam winning that. They eventually did the rematch over a month ago. Unfortunately, Volk got, we all saw what happened in late October. But he did take that fight on 10 days notice, so 11 days notice, whatever it was. But, we started with that fight. We got into John Jones returning, winning the heavyweight belt, Leon defending his belt against Kamaru, Izzy getting that win finally over Alex. We had International Fight Week, which was just ridiculous. Henry Cejudo came back this year. Aljo went on a good run, got knocked out by O'Malley. So many things have happened this year. Dricus beat Robert Whittaker, which was huge for the country of South Africa, and now he's getting his title shot finally. Izzy getting beaten by Sean Strickland in the biggest upset in UFC history to date. I mean, what didn't 2023 have? What didn't 2023 have for any fan in the UFC or any sports? I mean, if you don't even watch the UFC, this year was just so interesting and so like breathtaking. Every card you watch and say it can't get better, but it would get better, and it really is something. It's something that company such as the UFC, which is doing so well and like at the top in their prime, that's obviously very like, okay, maybe not their prime, but a lot of people would argue their prime just because of the popularity and the sheer like numbers that they're doing. A lot of people would argue the UFC is in its prime and are just doing bits at the moment. I mean, the fact that we've finished 2023 with all these cards, we've had, I think, 13 cards this year, 13 out of 13 bangers, maybe one that wasn't great, the pay-per-views. But even some of the fight nights have been just ridiculous. We had Noche UFC, the first ever inaugural Noche UFC, which was a fight night. It wasn't even a pay per view. And we saw Grosso and Shevchenko draw, which means they're going to a third fight. It's had everything. It's had everything. 2023 was a banger, and I'm glad we get to close it out with another huge card in 296. So before we get to 2024, let's do these predictions. I'm just going to do the main card just to keep it, short, just not to go on too much. But I just would like to say, before I say it, this podcast episode is brought to you by Player Bets Sports Betting. It is the new betting company that I am officially affiliated with. And I will be, I'm so happy to be working with them. I mean, they great people. I do have a promo code for you guys to use when you sign up with PlayerBets and use code NEZ. That is capital N, capital E, capital Z, NEZ, NEZ. You will get 50 free spins, a 50 Rand sign up bonus, and a 100% deposit bonus up to 2,000 Rand on your first deposit, which means if you deposit 1,000 Rand, you get a free 1,000 Rand with that 1,000 Rand. So you end up getting 2,000 Rand to spend on player bets, sports betting. They're on the rise, and I'm really happy to be working with them. But it is important that you either use my link that will be in my Instagram and in my TikTok bio. Use that link, go to playerbets.co.za, and you can get 50 free spins, 50 Rand sign up bonus, and a 100% deposit bonus up to 2,000 Rand if you sign up to PlayerBets using code NEZ, all capitals, NEZ. Thank you again to PlayerBets. And I mean, it's a perfect time to be working with PlayerBets since UFC 296 is tonight, this weekend. If you're going to be betting on UFC 296, go look at PlayerBets. They've got some great projections there. But let's get straight into it. Before the first fight, we must mention that Ian Gary versus Vincent Luque has been cancelled. Ian Gary has pneumonia. He will not be fighting at UFC 296. Neither will Vincent Luque. They tried to bring Kevin Holland in last minute. They couldn't. They couldn't make a deal. So there are just 4 fights on the main card now. So let's start. Tony Ferguson versus Paddy Pimblett. Okay, look here. This is difficult for a lot of MMA fans because you've got a guy who, in my opinion, I'm not very fond of in Paddy Pimblett. I'm not a huge fan of him. He is a good fighter, fair enough, but I'm not a huge fan of him. And Tony Ferguson, who is one of the most beloved UFC fighters by the community and is unfortunately getting fed to a rising star in Paddy Pimblett. Tony Ferguson's been training with David Goggins this camp. He has been preparing quite, hectically, doing Hell Week with David Goggins, which, not many people survive. But I don't know if that's going to translate. I hope it does, but I don't know if it's going to translate into MMA. And, it's obviously just to build character and build mindset. But I think Tony already has that ridiculous mindset. He's unfortunately just too brittle these days. He's too old and slow. And I just don't, unfortunately, see him winning this fight simply because of his age and because Paddy is so quick and so, energetic, and he has the cardio. Tony is just getting too old, and I'm worried that this will be his final fight. I hope the best for Tony Ferguson, but in reality, if I'm having to do a prediction, I'm going to say Paddy Pimblett, even though I'm not fond of him. But I would say Paddy Pimblett by decision. I don't think he will submit or knock out Tony Ferguson in 3 rounds. I think it will be Paddy Pimblett to win by decision against Tony Ferguson, unanimous or split. Doesn't really make a difference. Tony Ferguson will be beaten by Paddy Pimblett by decision. So that's the first fight. That's my first prediction. I do hope all the best for Tony, but I don't see him winning this fight. Moving on to what, in my opinion, could be the fight of the night, other than the main event. Leon Edwards. Sorry, no, that's the main event. Shavkat Rakhmonov versus Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Mate, I mean, if there's a definition of being fed to the lions, that is what Stephen Thompson is getting, treated like right now. I mean, Shavkat Rakhmonov, in my opinion, is the most intimidating and scariest guy in the UFC, not just the welterweight division in the UFC. He's like a warrior, from Kazakhstan who the guy's 17-0 with 100% finish rates. He's never gone to a decision in his life. So I think, in my opinion, even though Stephen Thompson is a ridiculous fighter, his stand-up is some of the best we've ever seen in the UFC. His kickboxing his stance is all of his striking is just ridiculous. But I fear that Shavkat is actually going to just have a fun time. He saw this fight offered and said, yes, let's take it straight away. I mean, they wanted to put Ian Gary and Wonderboy together. I thought that would have been a better fight stylistically, but I think Shavkat is going to dominate and will submit Stephen Thompson. What round? I'm not sure, maybe 2 or 3, but I don't think Stephen Thompson can deal with Shavkat's pressure and his ability to have so many different, things that he can do, not just take it to the ground and not just stand and bang, but he can stand and bang with Stephen Thompson, and he could easily take him to the ground and just dominate him. So I think Shavkat by decision in either round 2 or 3. I think round 1 will be slow. No one knows what's going on, and then Shavkat will just go in for the kill. That's my prediction. But who knows? That could be fight of the night. If they stand and bang the whole fight, it could be a crazy fight. But realistically, I think Shavkat will. So we get into the co-main: Alejandro Pantoja versus Brandon Royval. Obviously, Pantoja, the champion. They have fought once before. Pantoja, I think, is coming off, that fight with Brandon Moreno, who I think was just completely worn out, and it was a war. That fight was 5 rounds of brutal mixed martial arts, just brawling and grappling, and it was an insane fight. I thought it could have gone either way. He didn't. That's what's mad, is that it could have gone either way, which means it wasn't convincing. If it wasn't convincing, and you have a guy like Brandon Royval, who's a black belt in jiu-jitsu and is a grappling master, it looks a bit sketchy when you're looking at Pantoja's side. I'm just going to go ahead and say I think Brandon Royval wins the title tonight. I think Brandon Royval will beat Alejandro Pantoja. I just see it happening. I don't know what it is. I think if Brandon can get him on the ground and can get him into the right position, yes, Pantoja is strong. Yes, Pantoja can stand and bang and has the chin of, oh my word, his chin is just so strong. I get it. But once Brandon gets him on the ground and uses that grappling, I think it's a long day for Pantoja. So I will predict Brandon Royval by submission. Obviously, Paddy, I said, would win by decision. I said Shavkat will win by submission. I'm also going to say Brandon Royval wins by submission. But either way, I think if that fight goes 5 rounds, it will be a crazy fight again. Because I don't know if Brandon Royval has the chin like Pantoja does. I mean, we saw his chin when he fought Brandon Moreno. It was just ridiculous. So I think it could be a crazy fight if it goes all 5 rounds. But again, if Brandon Royval gets Alejandro Pantoja on the ground, it's a long day for Alejandro Pantoja. I hope he gets a title defense. I always hope for that for new champions. But I just see Brandon Royval taking him to the ground and submitting him. Whatever it is, rear naked, choke, guillotine, doesn't really matter. I think he submits Alejandro Pantoja, and I don't know what round. You can never call rounds in UFC. But yeah, that's my prediction for that. So we will see a new champion in Brandon Royval. Well, that's at least what I predict. But not in the main event, because in the main event, Leon Rocky Edwards will retire Colby Covington tonight at UFC 296. He will show him the seventh layer of hell, and he will send him to the Shadow Realm with the nastiest knockout we've seen in the UFC today. The nastiest. I think that comment at the press conference by Colby Covington is the most offside comment we've seen in the UFC. And that's saying something when you're talking about Colby Covington. Bringing up Leon's murdered father in that sort of way is you're just a disgusting human being. You're not even like trash talking or trying to promote. You're just a disgusting human being if you say something like that. I actually don't care if you Colby fans want to come after me, come after every other Leon fan. So be it. Your fighter is disgusting, honestly. And it's even worse because over the past few months, so first of all, I never understood, much like everyone else who watches the UFC, I understood how Colby Covington got this title shot, but he did. So whatever. Obviously, Dana likes him, but I was starting to warm up to him. I was starting to see, I've seen, he started respecting Usman. You showed respect to Usman. He started, being sort of a out of character, because obviously the whole Colby Covington is a character. But character or not, mate, that is so overboard, that comment. And, I know he's trying to get into Leon's head. I get it. That's the fight game. But that's overstepping the boundary, in my opinion. Maybe I'm too soft, but I actually don't care, because that's just, you can play a character for so long and you can say so many things, but saying something like that to, Leon Edwards, who lost his dad at a very young age, I think he was 13, and he's had to live with his mom, and, his mom raised him by herself. That's a hard thing, man, for someone to say. And I just hope that Colby Covington gets slept. And I know he's going to get slept because he's been talking so much. And I know Leon Edwards is going to win by knockouts in 1, 2, 3, somewhere around there, those rounds. It's not going to go past the third round, maybe even the second. I think Leon's going to come out firing, and Leon Rocky Edwards will show why he's the welterweight champion of the world, and why he should be the welterweight champion of the world, and why Colby Covington should retire now. I get it. He's 35 or 36, Covington. He's past it. He should retire. And I don't care if I eat my words, because he deserves it. So, yes, that is my prediction for the main event. Leon Edwards to win by knockout in either round 1, 2, or 3. Again, it's very difficult to predict rounds in the UFC. So just to summarize my predictions for UFC 296, I think Paddy Pimblett will win by decision against Tony Ferguson. Paddy Pimblett will win by decision against Tony Ferguson. Shavkat Rakhmonov will submit Stephen One Boy Thompson. Alejandro Pantoja will lose to Brandon Royval via submission, and which will crown a new flyweight champion of the world. And then Leon Edwards will knock out Colby Covington in either round 1, 2, or 3, and send him into retirement and send him into the Shadow Realm. So that's UFC 296, guys. Those are my predictions. I mean, we end the year off with a banger. Like I said, it's going to be good. It's going to be great. I do hope you guys enjoy it. It's so cool to see the UFC putting on these events every month consistently, and we've got one more until the end of the year, and then we start 2024 off with a banger. So yeah, don't forget, guys, if you are gambling, to gamble responsibly. But just head to the link in my TikTok or Instagram bio to Player Bets, PLAYABETS.co.za, and you'll be directed to the homepage. You can log in using code NEZ, capital NEZ, capital N, capital E, capital Z, or go to the link in my TikTok or Instagram and use the sign up page and sign up to Player Bets using my affiliate link, and you'll get 50 free spins, 50 Rand sign up bonus, and a 100% deposit bonus of up to 2,000 Rand, which means if you deposit 1,000 Rand, you will get another 1,000 Rand to place bets on. Please gamble responsibly. Head over to playerbets.co.za. Thank you so much, Playerbets, for being an affiliate with me. So let's just move on to. I just wanted to move on to something else quickly. This isn't going to be a long episode. So if you are. Sorry, I just need to get this out before UFC 296. That's the problem. Um, oh, I just wanted to quickly talk. That's actually exactly what I wanted to talk about. So I don't know if anyone's. Well, we're going to move into the NFL now because one of the sports I've been getting into a lot. I've always watched the NFL. Like Odell Beckham Jr. is probably the first sportsman like I fell in love watching. But it was I fell out of love with that sport just because of how often he was getting injured, and like I couldn't watch all the Giants and then Browns games, and then he went to the Rams. I watched the Super Bowl. I lost my mind. Now he's at the Ravens. They're probably going to win the Super Bowl again. So I'm falling back in love with NFL. And I don't know if it's just me, but why has every single American football quarterback in the 2023 season been popping off like never before? Let me just list some names, okay? I don't know stats off the top of my head, but Tua Tagovailoa, CJ Stroud, Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, um, uh, uh, Justin Herbert just got injured, but he was doing a decent job. But like, I mean, even Geno Smith at the Seahawks is doing bits. Like there's so many teams where their quarterback is straight up popping off. And I mean, let's just not even get started about Lamar Jackson as well. The Ravens are, they're about to clinch the playoffs when they play. Is it the Raiders or the Chargers or whoever we play? I'm not sure. But they're about to clinch the playoffs. The Niners have clinched the playoffs. But mate, every quarterback has just been popping off. And there is one that has stood out the most for me. Actually two, but one more than the other. The first is Tua Tagovailoa. I think he's doing bits at the Dolphins. I think they've built a super team there and they're using that super team. Have they won all the games that they should have? No. But nothing's perfect. And I think they're going to do bits in the playoffs and eventually possibly get to the Super Bowl. But CJ Stroud, give him the MVP now. Just give him the most valuable player right now. That guy, as a rookie quarterback, he's a rookie quarterback, is at this moment the best quarterback in the NFL. If we're talking about today, we had to send one quarterback to lead our team. It's CJ Stroud, and he's a rookie. It's his first year in the NFL. The guy, the things he's been doing at the Texans, I mean, mate, just watching him is like ridiculous. I can't say enough about him. It's, you watch guys like Mahomes and Hurts and Lamar Jackson, and they all have different playing styles, and even Tua and all these guys. I mean, it's just watching CJ Stroud is something else, man. And I think as a rookie quarterback doing this well, they will clinch the playoffs. The Texans, I think. He's just carrying them on their back with no Tank Dell as a wide receiver. Tank Dell was out for the season, which was, imagine he had Tank Dell to throw to. It would be ridiculous, man. Like the Texans would be on fire. So I think CJ Stroud should and will win the most valuable player this season, in my opinion. I think he deserves it. I think he's been popping off. But that is still to say every quarterback has been popping off this 2023 NFL season. I think it's ridiculous. Like every game you watch, every highlights you watch, these NFL quarterbacks are just popping off and throwing ridiculous throws, gaining ridiculous yards. Yes, we've seen some crazy catches, but that's also provided by the quarterback. It's not just the receiver doing the work. So I think, if you're not watching the NFL season this season and you want to get into football, get into football. Just the way you can start is watching highlights on YouTube, because yes, NFL is very stop, start. But watching highlights is a great way to get into the sport if you are interested in doing so. But the point is, give CJ Stroud the MVP right now. He deserves it. The Texans are going to the playoffs. I'm not even a Texans fan, but watching CJ Stroud is something to behold. And I just wanted to say that. That's just, it had to be said. Um, the next thing I just wanted to quickly talk about. Sorry, I'm doing everything myself here, as you can see. But just briefly, just moving into rugby, Ireland have just announced their tour of South Africa. They're coming to South Africa in July. I'm a bit torn. I'm from South Africa, but I'm Irish. So I will be attending one of those games uh, here in South Africa, but I won't be saying much when I'm at those games. But I think that's going to be an awesome tour. Ireland, South Africa. Hopefully South Africa gets some revenge on Ireland for their game in the World Cup. I just want to briefly say that was announced. So they come in July. I think they play 3 tests, which will be cool, pretty cool. And then finally, let's just finish this off by, I really don't want to talk about them, but Manchester United. As you guys know, I am a die-hard Manchester United fan. I'm going to the game in 3 weeks against Tottenham. I'm a die-hard fan of Manchester United, okay? Die-hard. I've been supporting them since I was 2 years old. I've had shirts since being given to me by my grandfather since I was 2 years old. I can't, show my more love and appreciation for this club. But I want to say a quote. I support Manchester United, but I don't like Manchester United, if you get what I mean. Because in 2023, I've never hit such a low when watching Manchester United play. What is going on at Manchester United Football Club? I just want answers. That's all I just want some answers from someone. Whether it's the manager having a problem, the manager having a problem with players, the players having attitude issues, the ownership being just like nowhere. That's the only way I can describe it. They're nowhere. The club is nowhere. I think we have owners who actually don't care and are just using this as a money-making scheme. Obviously, everyone knows that about the Glazers. But there is nothing going right for Manchester United at the moment. Not one thing. You can't tell me one thing that is going right for this football club at the end of 2023 right now. Nothing. We currently sit in 6th in the Premier League, and we face Liverpool at home tomorrow. At Anfield. So Liverpool's home, Anfield. We have to go to Anfield with no captain, okay? No Bruno Fernandes, no one to carry us on their back. No Casemiro, probably no Rashford. There's no Martinez. Varane just doesn't get game time. This team is just falling apart one bit by bit. We're out of the Champions League now. We just got dominated by Bayern Munich. It's, in my opinion, the single worst performance, the single most disappointing performance by a team in the Champions League in the history of the game in the group stages. That was an easy group. We had Bayern Munich. That's fine. Let Bayern Munich win the group. We had Galatasaray and FC Copenhagen. We didn't beat any of them. We came last. Came last in our group. Lost. It's disgusting, man. It's so sad because we almost not building, but we almost have players that could be part of a super team. But it's 11 individuals versus one team. And it's honestly hard to watch these games these days, man. And it's something that, we've had a lot of lows since Sir Alex Ferguson left. but I think now is the lowest. And yes, okay, we sixth in the Premier League. Chelsea are 12th or 11th, whatever they are. But the performances haven't been convincing at all. Chelsea are just playing mediocre football. United are just disappointing. The performances just aren't there. They're nowhere near where they should be. We win a game through big moments. Scott McTominay will score 2 at the end. Garnacho will score a bicycle kick. We don't rely on our play like City or Arsenal or Liverpool or even Newcastle to win our games. It's just non-existent. And the quicker something is done about it, and by that something I mean get new owners into the club, the quicker we'll maybe see a rise. But I think it's going to take a few years because right now the sun isn't shining bright on Manchester United Football Club. Our injury list is so long. We have no captain this week against Liverpool. Like, we're finished. And it's sad to see. And I know every Manchester United fan can relate with me. It's difficult to watch, but I hope 2024 is a new year and that they try to bring it back a little bit at least. Just a little bit. If they can make top 4 and focus on the Premier League this season. Don't focus on anything else. Just focus on getting top 4 and restart next season. Do a big clean out. Clean out everyone. Look, I love Martial. Get him gone. Donny, get him gone. All these guys that don't play, get them gone. Just get them gone. Johnny Evans should not be starting for Manchester United Football Club. I'm sorry. I don't care if he's doing all right performances. Manchester United isn't an all right club. We're world class. We're the greatest club in the history of the game. Bar maybe Real Madrid. Like, when you think of Manchester United, all you think about is royalty and winning. Can't say much of that recently. He won the Carabao Cup. Who cares? And they celebrated like we won the Champions League. I don't know, mate. The quicker something gets done about it, the quicker I can sleep at night. But I'm actually going over to England on the 9th of Jan to watch against Tottenham. I just hope I'm not disappointed, man. It's going to be pretty cool, but I just hope I'm not disappointed. I will show you guys when I'm there. I will obviously be recording it and stuff, but there's not much else to talk about, man. I mean, it's just standard Premier League at the moment. I've spoken about UFC 296. Ireland have announced their tour of South Africa. The NFL is in full swing. We're nearly in playoff season. Pretty cool. Giannis, my idol, Giannis Antetokounmpo, set a new record for the Bucks. 64 points. New franchise record. Didn't score a 3-pointer. Pretty crazy. He went I think it was 20 for 28 or something like that from the field. And then 24 points from field goals. I mean, from free throws, sorry. So pretty crazy. So yeah, obviously there was a big scuffle. I don't know if you guys watched it, but the big scuffle was because Giannis wanted the game ball because he set the record. It was his career high and a Bucks record. But let me get this right. Giannis wanted the game ball because he scored the record and got a new career high. But the Pacers had a guy playing on their team who scored his first bucket. So they said he deserved the game ball. But then actually it was one of the Bucks coaches who took the ball away. So there was a huge misunderstanding. Giannis was running through to the locker room trying to get the ball. He was heated. Thanasis was heated. A lot of the Bucks guys were heated. They had to calm him down. Giannis and Halliburton were going back and forth on off the game. I don't know. It was a bit messy, but I think they sorted it out. But yeah, man, Giannis doing bits. I think we have been a bit disappointing, the Bucks. I think, I'm not saying we're doing badly, but we've been disappointing compared to what I thought we'd be doing now with Dame in our team. But there's a rumor that Alex Caruso might be joining the Bucks, and if we get Alex Caruso, our defense will be ridiculous. Having another defensive player like Alex Caruso, you've got Giannis, Dame, Alex Caruso, Bobby Portis, Brook Lopez. We've got star players in this team now. It will be something to behold. Chris Middleton is being very mediocre at the moment. Hopefully he comes back to where he's meant to be. But I said it at the start of the season, mate, when we signed what's his name? Dame Time. I said we're winning the championship, and I stand by it. We won in 2021. We're going to win 2023 NBA championship or 2023-24 season. So yeah, man, that's about it. Episode 1 of the Nezcatt Knows Show. My camera's about to die, so I've got to clock out. But guys, don't forget, if you are betting on UFC 296, to head over to playerbets.co.za. Use code capital NEZ, and you get 50 free spins, 50 Rand sign-up bonus, and a 100% deposit bonus of up to 2,000 Rand. If you use code NEZ or capitals, or use the code affiliate link in my TikTok and Instagram bio. Hope you guys enjoy UFC 296. Thank you so much for watching and listening to the first episode of the Nezcatt Knows Show. I know it's only 37 minutes. We will be doing much more in the days to come, but I hope you guys enjoyed. And to the moon, baby, to the moon. Stay safe, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Cheers.